Inventory is spiking across the country in the real estate market, and I'm going to tell you exactly how it affects you and what the causes are behind it. So the first thing we're going to get into are the numbers behind what people could actually afford with how much money that they're making. So according to the U.S. Census Bureau, roughly you have to make around $100,000 to be able to afford a $400,000 house, which is pretty insane if you think about it, because if you are someone who is in search of a property, in order to make $100,000, let's think about what industries you have to be in to be able to even get to that. You have to be a professional that's either maybe a trade, maybe you're working as a doctor, maybe as a pilot, as an architect. You have to have a career field that allows you the potential to even reach 100,000, where a lot of career fields don't. So that means that you have to be in very specific areas as well, right? Like, what areas could you be in the United States that actually allow for you to make that 100,000 to be able to qualify now for the $400,000 house? Well, I can tell you that here in South Florida, for $400,000, you're not getting much of anything. And problem with that is that the people who could actually qualify for those homes don't even want the homes that they can qualify for. And the reason behind that is because during COVID, we had a number of people that moved down here from upstate New York and from all other areas. They brought a lot of cash with them. We also had a lot of money that was input into the market during the Biden administration because of what happened when we were trying to subsidize how much money was being lost because people were staying at home. Well, that influx of all that money into the market ended up shooting up prices, so now inflation went crazy. Inflation went crazy, and now that $400,000 house from 5 years ago, where you actually got something maybe decent, you're not getting much for it now. So I'll give you guys an example. I recently sold a house for under $400,000, just close to it, $375,000. It is a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, and it is 900 square feet. I don't even think it's 900 square feet. I think it's like 850 square feet. So you're really not getting much house for that price. And that's for something fixed up, new roof, new AC. It's completely done, all the bells and whistles. Now, the benefit to that house was that someone who's moving into it doesn't have anything to worry about, probably for at least 5 to 10 years, hopefully. It's hard to say exactly, but hopefully they won't. But think about the person who's going to be affording that house, right? We just said it. Someone who's a doctor, someone who's a professional in the industry who's making a lot of money. More than likely, they're going to want a house that's much nicer than that, much bigger than that, has more bathrooms, maybe even more bedrooms, because they will also be the kind of people who have a family that they're going to carry with them to be able to support having a larger house. Now, not everyone is going to want that, of course, and some people are going to be happy with a smaller home, but typically a house that's only 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom and around 800 to 900 square feet is a starter home. And those starter homes typically go to people who are looking to get into the industry for the first time and who may not even be making anywhere near 100,000. So hence the dilemma. So what does that mean for you? Well, that means that you now have to find properties that investors find. Now, not everyone's going to be out there looking for an investor type property, because some people like to have a finished product. Some people don't want to have to work on a kitchen or a bathroom. They want to walk into a house and it's already finished for them. So something that you could also do to help offset the cost of that house that would be incredibly high, or one that you wouldn't qualify for, is to, one, get a lower interest rate. So Jerome Powell came out about 2 weeks ago and he let us know that interest rates have been slashed about 0.5%. Now, that's big because that means that your mortgage payment is now a lot less for the same house that you want to buy. So if you guys are looking to get into a house and you're looking to now put down a deposit on something, well, know that the rate that you're paying is actually going to substantially decrease because of the fact that the interest rates came down. Now, another way to offset that is to have more savings. The more savings that you have, the more money you can help put down on the cost of that house so that your mortgage is also not so high. Again, any way in which you can help reduce that payment is going to be great, and also help with you in the qualifying process. I just think, all things considered, whether you can afford it or not, having to make $100,000 for a $400,000 house is absolutely insane, when that is probably the top 5% of America. I don't have the exact numbers for you, but a 6-figure salary is definitely within the top 10% of the United States. So that means the rest of the United States, that 90% can't even afford a $400,000 house. Absolutely insane. Hopefully things are going to change, but honestly, that leads me into the next topic, which is specifically on politics and how exactly that's going to affect the market coming up. So we have an election coming up here in the next couple weeks, and that is a really big determining factor. At least a lot of people have that perception as far as how the market is going to be affected. Now, a lot of people are saying the market's crashing, we're going into a recession. Some people have a different opinion where they think maybe there could actually be some potential on the outside of that. I'm someone who believes in having the market dictate what we should believe and not as far as what projections people think based on an election. And the reason why I think that's the case is because we've been around for how many years? 300 years as a country, and we still have the fact that all of the past experiences, regardless of which election has taken place, we're all still American. We all still live here in this country. So whether you're going to vote for Trump or you're going to vote for Harris, I don't think it's going to have that much bearing on what happens in the market, simply because you still have to live here. So I do think when it comes to the election specifically, that bearing on who actually wins the election, whether it's Trump or Harris, is not really going to dictate the market so severely. I do think there might be slight advantages of one over the other, but it's going to be marginal, and I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference in terms of how much money you're paying every month on your mortgage. Now, something that is going to matter a lot is what happens after the election, because at the moment, we're having a lot of stifling in the market because people are waiting to see what happens. Now, that waiting to see is typically a fear mindset, because people are like, I don't want to buy anything. What if Trump wins? What if Harris wins? I'm not going to live in this country. People will say anything to have a reason not to buy, or they just might be fearful or want to see what ends up happening before they commit to that decision. So what's happening right now in the market is you have a pullback, and that pullback is what's causing the market to recede to the point where prices of houses are coming down. So if you are someone that's currently looking for a house, this might actually be your best time to find one, because a lot of sellers, including myself on a recent sale, are offering concessions to help offset the cost of the house and to try to get that house to the finish line. Because if you're someone like me, or you've been investing in real estate and you have a surplus of inventory, that's always a bad thing, because you don't want to have to constantly pay more money to a mortgage when if you had less of them, you have more money to park on the side so that you could take advantage of more opportunities. So if you guys are doing some real estate investing, or you're looking to do your first real estate deal, you have some benefits of purchasing right now. Now, if you're a homeowner, if you're someone who's waiting to see what ends up happening in the market, I think all we have to do is wait until December, maybe even the turn of the year, to have a big turnaround. I do expect come January, come February of 2025, the market is going to see a big shift. And I think also that has to do with the fact that the timing is, right? The end of the year, houses just do not sell as well as they do in the earlier sides of the year, or especially during the spring and summer times. Now, here in South Florida, we don't really have a market per se because it's always warm and beautiful. But I do think we do have a lot of people that come from up north down here, specifically during the winter time, which is why I say around January, February, because all of our snowbirds also directly affect our housing market. Now, because they're going to be coming in here, they're also going to be bringing a lot more cash with them. And once the elections are complete and all that's been done, and we know who's going to be in the White House, now people will have more incentive to make a decision on what house they're going to buy, because they're not waiting to find out. They'll already have their answer laid out for them. So for all the people who are really fearful, or they're saying the market's going to crash or market's going to do really well, nobody knows. No one has a crystal ball. But I think we can take some past experiences and data that we've had over the last couple of years and come to an informed decision. Something that's strong right now is we have a number of people who qualify, right? Unlike 2008 and 2009, 2007 and 2008, where we had a lot of people who were not qualified to purchase properties. Now we have some of the most qualified people ever to purchase homes. If they're going to buy the homes that they qualify for is one thing, but there is something to be said about the fact that they do qualify. And as a result, we're not going to have the same kind of turn down that we did a long time ago, because not as many houses are going to go through foreclosure. Instead, people are going to take all the equity that they've been building up since COVID, where their housing market has doubled, they're going to cash out. And when they cash out, they're going to be looking for a new place to move that money into, especially with interest rates coming down as well. So take all of that, put into a big ball, and let's see what ends up happening come the turn of the year. And it is my personal opinion that given all those factors, we're actually going to have a positive turnaround. Just wait and see. The last topic I want to go over is specifically where you are in the United States and how that also affects how much you're going to have to pay for a property. Now, if you are in South Florida like us here, you know that the market is kind of ridiculous. We have housing that is greatly outweighing what people are making. But if you live in another part of the country where you don't have to worry about that so much, then hey, positive thing for you. Sometimes you can even look right here in our very own state. The closer you get to the center of the state, and the closer you get to the panhandle going into Bible Belt, Georgia, Louisiana area, you start leaving Florida, you're actually going to see that they also have houses that are a lot less. I was actually looking at a property in Pensacola, Florida, and another one in Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville is an interesting city because it has the infrastructure of what it needs to be a big city, but it doesn't have the housing crisis and the housing prices that we have down here in South Florida. Although I do think it is on its way there because a lot of people are leaving South Florida and they're moving north, and they're moving to Jacksonville, they're moving to Pensacola. So expect both of those cities to start growing in size and population over the next couple of years. So with that being said, if you are looking at a property in Pensacola or in Jacksonville, especially the two that I was looking at, they were incredibly inexpensive. One house was about $150,000. Another one, I think, was around $200,000. Now, again, depending on where you are in the country, that might still be high. But if you are in the state of Florida, that is incredibly low, very, very low. And mind you, these are for two properties that really don't need much work. They just need maybe a little bit of cleaning, so maybe some work done in the kitchen, but that's not to say that they aren't livable in their current state. So if you guys are also looking to do real estate deals, maybe you are somebody who doesn't qualify for the area that you're in. So what you could do is look for something outside of that area. Or if you are a homeowner and you're looking to get into a property and you want to buy something, but you also don't qualify, maybe look outside of that. Maybe you have to drive 30 minutes. Maybe you have to drive 45 minutes. I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm not. But we have to look at the facts of the matter. We have to look at what's realistic. And right now, when it comes to housing across the United States, it's just a bit high. And in order for you to get into something and be able to afford it, you got to make sure that, one, it's close enough to you where you can actually have the desire to go to it, but that it also makes sense and that the numbers make sense, so that you're not paying all of your money towards your mortgage and your car and everything else you have to pay. Because at the end of the day, you need to make sure you also have some money for yourself. And right now, as housing starts to outweigh the cost of what people are making, it's becoming more and more difficult. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys are looking for more content just like this, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. So until next time, I'll catch you in the next video.